что, продолжаем ковырять этот квест. Не сказать, чтобы зацепило. Ну и не самая скучная тема. Так. Непонятно. С этим я говорил.
What do you want, Louis?
Emily, what can you tell me about the coming conference?
Sir Gregory and Lord
Emily,
Mortimer organise this kind
what
of
can you
high
tell me about the
society
coming
meeting
conference?
every so often. Sir Gregory and Lord Mortimer organise this kind of high society meeting every so often in order to consider the world situation.
But to what purpose?
Well, by bringing together the most influential people from the dominant nations of the modern world, they allow the mighty to discuss matters with calm clarity. There are precedents of armistices being signed at the end of these talks, you know. Talking while holding a glass of
Мёда не
brandy makes
хватает,
things
конечно.
easier. You'll see.
Всё, ладно.
You're leaving me?
Unfortunately, I have things to do. Thank you again, madam.
Сюда не надо. Что нужно сделать-то? А можно так все этажи и облазить. Непонятно. Ничего.
Huh, that's me. Christ Crucified by Velasquez. Look, someone's left a note there. Reserved for the Duke of Alquidia.
Непонятно.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Ah, Louis. Just a man. Good Lord. How did the king come to be executed? I would think that the order would have intervened.
Your Eminence, I'm sorry for King Louis, but he did everything to put himself there.
Louis, how can you say such a thing? Even if France rejects the church, You don't go and behead a person of high status. They always serve our cause better alive than dead. Politically, it's absurd.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
Well, I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak.
I was wondering what to think of that Manuel Godoy.
He is reputed to be a
Непонятно,
vicious
чё
character at every level. But his faith is unwavering. He is a staunch defender of the church. You can believe me.
If I say the nightmare to you, does it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
Think of a place and tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I say the nightmare.
Let me think. I'd say Lord Mortimer's favorite painting on the wall behind his desk. You know, that painting caused quite a stir when it was exhibited. It is titled The Nightmare, and it shows a woman lying down with a creature sitting and in the background, a horse. I don't know if it will be of any help, but I can't think of anything else.
You never know. Thank you for that, though, Your Eminence. I gotta go and see it just in case, though. I'm sure a man like you is in the circle of trust. Would you know what the conference that Lord Mortimer mentioned is going to be about?
Not really, my son. Well, be it Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory, we are never informed about the theme of the conference before it begins.
Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis. Now
Блять.
you wanted to speak to me.
Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son.
О, с дедом
I
поговорить
will be
надо
seeing
было.
you.
Овечка стоит, попрошайничает. Ну, уже кабинет этого Артемагра. Разучили.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond the nightmare? Let's take a closer look. Judging by the shape, I'd say they're Criollo cocoa beans. The chocolate of the Mayas, the rarest of the beans. Some even say they're an aphrodisiac. When a product is in fashion, people attribute all sorts of virtues to it, not to be given to animals. Dark chocolate beans, very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society. It's a book on the history of the Crusades. I don't think it has any connection with my research. The Nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey. Looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere. That's what you generally feed birds. Might come in handy. A mynah bird. Well, Waldo, is your master good? I don't really know what I was expecting.
Какая коллекционная монета? Чё это такое?
Nope. No mechanism here. Dante's Purgatory. Why does your mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming. The Greek drachma, one of the rare ancient coins to be made.
Где здесь, блядь, коллекционные предметы, блядь?
Both in the Bible and in the Quran. Aha, I found it.
Нашел!
What on earth is this?
Что это
Unlock
такое?
now?
Кодовый замок.
That's all I needed. Open sesame.
И по нулям скинулся.
Let's see what you've been hiding, Lord Murderer. Honey, like Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Trimor. Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Trimor. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in. This shows the forces present in America. Goat skulls, 3 rusty old nails. They're about some goat skulls, chicken legs. Now we all know what that's for. Something strange about this table. What kind of experiments does Mortimer carry out here? It's a dissection table. So Mortimer does autopsies. Here on his desert island. But who was he doing autopsies on then? The little surgeon's perfect collection. Looks like obsidian or onyx. Must weigh a ton. These are feathers. Pigeon, probably. That must be for writing the homing pigeon messages. A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of fire. Three rusty old nails. They're about 20 centimeters long. This is my mother's writing. I've picked up her trail. What is she up to? Obviously she wants to lure Mortimer somewhere, but where? The only clue she's left for Mortimer is his stone sword. It must be intentional. It looks like a decorative sword, like from a statue, for example. And judging by the state of it, I'm guessing it's been left outside for a long time. I have absolutely got to find out where it came from. Oh, shit. How am I gonna get out of here now? It's locked. Something strange about this table. What kind of experiments does Mortimer carry out here? It's a dissection table. So Mortimer does autopsies here on his desert island. But who is he doing autopsies on then? These are feathers. Pigeon, probably. A skeleton by the name of Gustav, if the plaque on the plinth is anything to go by. That must be for writing the homing pigeon messages. This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. Well, I better not dwell on it then. This note is about a meeting with Lord Mortimer. There's no doubt about it. All right, I need to find out where the sword that came with it's from in order to find Mother.
You're joking, I hope. Don't tell me you've done that.
Really? How do you expect me to guess?
Oh, for God's sake, just ask then. Well,
Pity, but I've got no time to lose.
Здорово, 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 Нига, привет.
I am sorry, sir, but the conference room is under preparation and is consequently inaccessible to guests.
Excuse me, but could you perhaps help me?
That is what I am here for, sir. What can I do for you, sir?
I'm trying to find out where this sword came from.
From the garden, sir. That sword belongs to one of the statues in the garden.
Thank you very much.
Do not mention it, sir. I am sorry, sir, but the conference room is under preparation and is
Да
consequently
как,
inaccessible to
нормально,
guests.
короче, видишь, прохожу какую, 200... Какую-то игру, 206, 207. Ну, короче, надо Искать след матери. Опа, сюда, наверное. Я бы уже на самом деле вышел бы с... О!
Lord Mortimer certainly has a taste for staging rooms. Lord Mortimer certainly has a taste for staging rooms. Lord Mortimer
что-то как-то
certainly
мне
has
не
a taste
заходит,
for
честно.
staging rooms.
Хоть я уж тут 5 часов и наиграл, но я мучаюсь с этими квестами. Вот эти вот. Куда идти? Я не понимаю. Я не знаю. Мне весь этаж исследовать. Зачем? Какой у меня завис? Идите по следу матери. Все, блядь. И куда идти, ведь? Ну, у нее что, след тут? Я всю игру ее ищу. И что в этот момент поменялось? Ну, не хочу, надо первый этаж исследовать. Не хочу второй. Опять я второй уже, блядь, столько раз его пробежал. Выходной, конечно, суббота, воскресенье поиграем побольше. Поэтому... Так, сюда не пойдем. Вот, тут уже переместился. Лорд умеет оставлять комнаты со вкусом. С каким вкусом, блядь? Идите по следу, мать. Ну, короче, тут... Может, чувак отошел, может, получится выйти. Где мы тут? Нет, стоит. Ну, я тогда не знаю, что делать. Золотого эликсира уже. Ай, блин. Не люблю я вот такие вот квесты, которые ты не понимаешь, что делать. Не знаешь просто. Ну чё, второй этаж. С этим смысл разговаривать.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
Вот и нахрен. Просто вопрос. Двор. Столовая. У меня, я не знаю, где сад. Первый этаж. Ну я... Может, конечно, вот в самом здесь, но и это... Подожди, а тут нет нигде. Да не. Выходим в сад. Как я выхожу в сад, если здесь не выходится в сад? Идите по следу матери. Вот тут какой сад есть. До этого сада еще. Здесь нельзя в сад пойти. Здесь нам еще. Вот мы сейчас выйдем опять в библиотеку. К Кстати, хотел спросить, ты будешь проходить Человека-паука 2018 года? А у меня же, если ты зайдешь в плейлисты, да ты же знаешь, там же есть в этом Человек-паук же. И первый, и второй, и Моралес. Так что... Даже на платину, по-моему, есть полные прохождения. Так что Человек-паук в эти 207 игр входит с платиной. Я не знаю ведь. Может, с дедом поговорить? Доктор Вашингтон, позвольте мне выйти в парк.
Is everything all right, my young friend?
Wonderful.
Isn't that lovely? Well,
Вот и поговорили,
later.
блядь. Он не хочет со мной разговаривать. Он говорит, иди в парк. О! Ни хрена себе. Меч принесли отсюда. Где же он был?
What could have been used for?
На столе стоит статуя.
Ariadne.
У
In
статуи
Greek
нету.
mythology, she helped Theseus get through the labyrinth. Looks like there's a crack in the region of the heart.
Да, такое есть. У тебя даже ничего спросить. Не, ну как ж нечего спросить? Спроси о любой игре, которая 207 игр. Расскажу тебе о
Ariadne is
ней.
none other than the daughter of Minos and Pasiphae. She was
Можешь
in love with
посоветовать
Theseus and
какую-нибудь
helped him
игру,
in his
которой
quest to
нету в
Kombat
этом
in
списке. С
return for a promise
удовольствием
of marriage
посмотрю,
if
если она
he
на
defeated the
PlayStation.
monster. She
Почему
gave him
я
a
ее
reel
не
of thread so
прошел?
that he could find his way back through the labyrinth, which was famous for being unsolvable. But once the beast
Могу
was
тебе
slain,
заспойлерить,
the
что
gallant
буду
was quick
дальше
to abandon her on
проходить.
an island.
Очень хочу пройти вот The Artist Escape. И про, короче, про гитариста песня. Ой, песня. Ну, короче, какая-то херь. Надо вот посмотреть 3 фри-то-плей игры бесплатных, приземлиться и вступить в бой, потому что скачать их на плойку можно бесплатно. А я что-то все как-то не могу их запустить, что-то я... Надо, кстати, да. Ну вот Редемер на двоих. Она с 2 джойстиками, короче, проходится. Так что потом подожду как-нибудь это. Пройду. Ну и что-то там еще вот. Фильм про лесу. Ну там еще что-то есть, блядь. Надо просто допройти эту игру, удалить ее и посмотреть, что там еще выскочит. Потому что игры-то пока есть что поиграть. Но на все времени, сам понимаешь, не хватает. Вспомнить уроки, здесь посмотрел, смотреть трещину.
Let's see.
Вонзить меч в трещину. Давай пихай туда, блядь.
What's going to
чё?
happen if I've got it wrong?
Меч сбить, дебил.
Ariadne. Try something else.
Я правда не знаю, что произошло. Можно и сюда, наверное, ставить.
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. She has no cracks.
Короче, понятно.
All right, let's continue
Нету
anyways.
трещин. Ну-ка. Главное, в беседке должно произойти. Очень милая беседка
I
посреди
wonder what
сада.
this kiosk is doing in the middle of the
Какая-то она
garden.
слишком
Too
тесная,
cramped to be
наверняка
able to do
это
much. Well,
неспроста.
there must be something going on there.
Да что это?
What is that? It's like a sort of opening mechanism.
Мне кажется, надо руку приложить. Ну, конечно же, мы посмотрим, изучим.
Knowing Mortimer, I bet it's booby-trapped. There's a little hole at the fingers. I'm pretty sure if I get it wrong, I'll get pricked. Damn you, Mortimer. Reminds me of traps I studied in Egyptian tombs.
Понятно. Не суй, говорит, пальцы. Здесь, короче, никаких трещин нету, что ли? А, о, что-то на полу есть. Ладно, пойду покушаю. Сделаю все дела, а то только проснулся. Давай, давай, я тоже что-то как-то, видишь, проснулся, пока я с кровати не вставал. Думаю, дай немножко поиграю. А потом поиграю, надо тоже поделать кучу дел. Поэтому... Пока изучим плиту.
It looks like this
Потому что
slab moves.
плиты надо
I wouldn't be
изучать.
surprised if there was a passageway underneath it.
Отойти, прочесть надпись на табличке. Только справедливые могут судить, правда открывает все
Unlocks all
двери.
possibilities.
Все, давай, короче. Ключ. Может, ключ куда-то теперь можно вставить здесь? Да не, вряд ли. Ни хрена, короче, тут нельзя сделать. Ну и все. Че нам, в лабиринт опять идти? А это что такое? Дедал.
Daedalus. He's the architect of the labyrinth, and if I'm not mistaken, he's also the father of Icarus. Hey, there's a crack in this statue too.
Туда его пихай.
Daedalus. All right, let's try again. You never know.
Непонятно, короче. Да. Тупиковые тупики. Ты кто? Икар.
Icarus. The son of Daedalus and Nocrate. Impossible to mistake him with those wings. After flying too close to the sun, they came unstuck and he fell to his death. Pity.
Не
Well, let's keep going.
хватает уже очков. А.
Одни.
Well, Monsieur de Richet, what brings you here?
I'm still looking for my mother, of course.
You're right, Monsieur. Keep looking. Good luck to you.
А мог и поебал настучать. Злой дядька, конечно. Хуй знает, что он ему, блядь. Опа. Там уже это есть. Опять надо иметь минимум. А это кто я забыл? Тищей.
Theseus, son of a Judas. He's the one who slayed the Minotaur. I wonder if Mother managed to solve this enigma.
Да. Спрятали, короче, они этого дядьку куда-то.
golden elixir.
Ебал меня этот лабиринт уже. Конечно, вторая глава более нудная, чем первая. Вон он, блядь. Старый хер, блядь. Спрятался, блядь. Сидит он там, блядь. Опяздас.
Minos, son of Zeus and Europa. If I remember correctly, he was the king of Crete. Married to Pasiphae, he had many children, including the famous Ariadne, whom history remembers for her thread.
Пихай,
there's a
пихай,
crack in that
дурень.
statue. The crack is in the region of the heart. Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better.
Хорошо. Теперь идем. 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 Еще как приложим. Наверное. Ага. Ага. Почему она, блядь, смышленый, а где-то открывается в середине, блядь, вот? Почему нельзя ее смышленого сделать, блядь, в конце, либо в начале? Ну, в середине. Кто это будет искать, блядь? Ёб твою. Черти, блядь, короче, делали игру. Логика -1, блядь, игре.
Whoa. Again?
You can't be serious, Manuel. You know that's not going to happen.
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
Agreed? I wasn't aware you had a choice.
What's going on here?
What now? What else must I do to win back my freedom?
Obey me. Now get out.
Что происходит, непонятно. Какой-то опять он куда-то там проваливается в сон.
What was that? That's the third time in 3 days. Let's see if you're in there, Mother.
Это голова, наверное, хуяк и все. Или нет? Не.
A fragment of amber.
Сколько янтаря валяются просто так. Сейчас я их буду поднимать. Они мне все нужны.
Bandages.
Качайся.
Someone's been patching these things
Янтарем.
up. Looks like my mother took
Янтарь
advantage of
великий,
being in
сука,
hiding to
что
change her
пиздец.
bandages, huh? This is silk. She must have used her own clothes. There are patches where the blood isn't totally clotted. That's a good sign, right? She changed them recently, which proves she's still looking after herself and still believes in her chances. Well, I'd love to tell her to keep hanging in there.
Пойдем дальше. Драть стяжки какая-то херь. Не дрожь.
Damn it, Mother. Now what's happened?
Don't move!
Wait, I'm not armed.
Кто ты?
Who are you?
Good God, Mother, what have you...
Tell me who you are!
Ни хрена себе. Там кого кугух поехала. Пройти часть 2.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything, even to...
But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
I hope that your search will prove successful and bring Sarah back to us soon.
I'll be leaving now because whatever it is you're up to, I do not want to know.
Since then, we have become one and the same. We have officially erased the identity of my sister Emma. Emily Hillsborough, the woman with two faces.
Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
Три можно изучать, а я почему изучал по одной всегда? Ой. Третий эпизод. Второй меня, конечно, не понравился.
Don't move.
Wait, I don't...
So you've come at last.
Easy. Let me turn around. Oh my god, Mother, what has happened to you?
Who are you?
What? But, Mother,
Who are you?
it's me, Louis, your son.
No, you lie. You won't catch me out like that. Louis isn't here. He obeys his mother. He would never have come here.
Mother, I don't know what you've been through, but lower your arm, please.
You think I was born yesterday, do you? But it won't work.
I'm begging you.
One day you will fall.
Mother!
Why are you here?
Remember Al-Azif?
I was sure.
Where's the book, Mother?
So that's what you want. Well, you will never find
Неудачный, да.
Emily died for that.
What's got into her?
You are evil.
Какую
incarnate.
книгу, бля?
Every word that
Конечно,
comes out
про
of your
книгу первый
mouth
разговор
is sharper
не
than a
надо было
razor
начинать.
blade.
I don't wish you any harm. Really, Mother. It's me, Louis.
Don't speak to me about him. You will never get him.
Mother, stop torturing yourself. It really is me, Louis. How can I convince you?
If you really are who you say you are, what was the saying I taught you?
You've been telling it to me since I was 3 years old, Mother. How could I ever forget it? Always keep your mind logical. And open.
You knew it. You are smart. You're getting me muddled up. Tell me, rather, whose place were we at when I told you I was coming here?
Mother, I really am your son. You can't trick me. We were in Paris. We were investigating an art dealer.
His name?
His name was Von Bulcher.
You just made your first mistake, scumbag.
No, wait, it's just a detail. He lived in Paris, near the Notre Dame Cathedral.
We investigated him for 3 months. He made a fortune by taking advantage of gullible collectors of Parisian high society.
You're a good actor.
He was an ancient art dealer. He had the book, Al-Azif.
And that's what you wanted to get out of me, wasn't it?
Not at all. We unmasked him, but then he came after us. We escaped, but you didn't want me to intervene. I listened to you, and we knocked him out.
What? How? You can't know about that. Louis, no. Is it really you? No! 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 It's not true. It's a nightmare. Don't tell me that. Have you spoken to him?
Oh, shit. She's completely panicked because I spoke to Mortimer. It seems she's afraid of what he might have said to me about her.
Did he speak to you?
Mother, I don't know what you're imagining, but don't worry. Everything will be all right. If you're worried about what I might think about Elizabeth Adams, honestly...
Oh, Louis! Elizabeth is the last of my worries right now. I did what I could for her, but it was too late. Very well. Logical and open, Louis. Since you arrived on the island, has anything strange happened to you?
Depends on what you mean by strange. Do you want to tell me about your relationship with Elizabeth Adams?
Louis, I don't know what you found out, but just know that I did everything I could to help her.
How can you say that, Mother? I saw the scars, the tattoos.
You weren't there, and you
А чего льют
that
серебряные?
child suffered every day. Now shut up and listen to me. We might still have a chance. Something of utmost importance is going to play out right here.
What are you talking about?
A conference, Louis. I should think all Mortimer's guests have arrived by now, haven't they?
Yes, they have, since this morning.
Perfect. The conference will be able to begin. You will attend this conference, and you must find out what Mortimer is up to. Don't trust him, Louis. Understood? Louis, I made a mistake by coming here. We are in the lion's den. Mortimer, Holm, their guests.
Я
What
молчаливый пес.
happens?
Я
Do you think
хитер
it's
бобер.
normal that the representatives of the most powerful nations are here all on their own without anyone else? On an island in the middle of nowhere in total secrecy?
No, not really, but...
Louis! They shape the world. They manipulate us. Everything is decided here and now. They create and break states, provoke wars, destitute governments, or decide who will be their leaders. Open your eyes! Nothing is impossible for them. They are capable of reaching everyone.
Ну теперь
wherever
молчать
they
уже
be.
будем до
Through high
последнего, что
society
мы
banquets, they modeled
в
the
конце
future of
сдадимся,
us
что ли.
all. And it isn't at all an issue for
Сам
them.
заговорил.
And? What do you propose?
It's
Ну
time to
ладно.
act, my son. You will go to this conference, and from the inside, you'll do everything you can to prevent Mortimer's plan from going ahead smoothly. We can talk later. I'll explain everything.
But why?
Do as I say, Louis. It's of the utmost importance. Beware of Mortimer.
Ты ебанулась? Я сдам тебя первому, блядь, просто дворецкому, блядь, мама.
After.
Пиздец.
Yes, Mother, I'm
Просто
going,
там
I'm
кукуха
going.
поехала, ты посмотри.
One more thing, Mother. Emily Hillsborough,
Дворецкий
Emily's sister,
со мной в
came to this
подземелье.
island
Тут
looking for her
поехавшая
sister. She probably won't
кукуха.
hesitate to take revenge and...
It's the signal that the conference is starting, Louis. Don't be concerned about the Duchess. She's the last of our worries.
Собрание. А где у нас собрание, интересно, может проходить? %100 где-нибудь. Можно пройти на собрание?
Monsieur de Richet, you're the only one missing at the conference. Please join the
Пропусти
guests.
меня, блядь.
Monsieur de Richet, you're the only one missing at the
Блядь,
conference.
точно не сюда,
Please
наверное.
join the guests.
Точно не сюда, здесь, блядь. Тайная комната за этим. О! Здравствуйте, собрание. Собрались у дуба старинные друзья. Гремит в лесу посуда. Так, вы мне все школота не интересны. Мне нужен лорд. Походу это вот этот.
Good evening, gentlemen. Are we ready? The much-awaited conference is about to begin?
That is what we have all been waiting for.
I believe that Lord Mortimer wishes to speak to you before it begins.
Понятно.
You should go and see him.
Подожди, там есть что спиздить у вас, мужики. О,
Yes, because she asked him at
A
last.
chest with a motif representing the alchemist's
просто
symbol.
взломать оба замка.
Spoken to.
А тут медок.
Your conjecture is totally wrong. I
Мед
assure you.
нужен.
I have suspected it for some time, but now I'm convinced.
I have already told her so once by your desire.
Are you quite
Так,
sure
ну, наверное, сюда.
mistake somewhere?
Yes, because she
Не,
asked him at last.
спусть-
Not help answering, but she said he seemed quite angry at being spoken to.
But it is not sound.
But with respect to any other leading characteristic, I do not imagine that much is... Ah, Louis, I've been expecting you. Thank you for joining us. We are about to begin our conference. Let me explain what is at stake.
Thank you kindly. But what do you expect of me exactly? My mother's the one who's supposed to attend, not me.
That is indeed what was initially intended. Unfortunately, she still hasn't been found, and my guests can't stay here indefinitely. The conference must begin, and it would be truly beneficial to the Order to join in the project. Consequently, I would like you to replace her during her absence. What is at stake here is of the utmost importance.
It's important that the French Order gets their say. And should you need any advice, don't worry. You are not alone, Louis.
Very well.
Louis, let me keep you a moment.
Интересного ничего нет.
I would like to let you in on a secret before we begin, because I'm going to need your assistance. You see, the project I'm going to present concerns the territory of Louisiana in North America. It's currently Spanish territory, and I'm going to make the proposition to the Assembly for it to become French. My idea is to increase the territory of the United States. The first stone of this vast project consists of getting Spain to cede Louisiana to France. Once it becomes French, France will hand it over to the United States, which will then allow them to double the size of their territory. And that's where you come in. France and the United States, hand in hand, two democracies illuminating the world.
But why spread it over 2 phases? Why not announce the overall project immediately?
Unfortunately,
Непонятно.
if Spain were to hear that the intention of all this is to allow the United States to grow, they would never sign. Manuel Godoy is perfectly aware of President Washington's appetite. If the United States took Louisiana, Godoy would know full well that he will have lost the entire North American continent. Things must take place in several stages. Otherwise, the change will be too brutal, and he will have no choice but to reject the project. Take a look at them. Apart from President Washington, they all belong to monarchies. Do you really think they won't resist? Of course they'll fight, fearful as they are of losing their precious privileges. But the world needs visionaries, like you, like your mother. It's a pity Sarah isn't here to see it. She only knew about a tiny part of the project. I hope I can count on you, Louis. It's time to start now. I must ask you to keep it to yourself for the time being. Take a seat, follow the discussions. We'll have an opportunity to catch up later, and you'll be able to let me know your thoughts.
Blast it, Mother. You didn't know about everything. His project is commendable. Why tell me to beware? Could you have gotten it wrong?
I can tell you that someone.
My friends, I propose we get started. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come.
The honor is ours, my lord.
As per our custom, here we are all together to discuss the face of tomorrow's world. Even though there may be certain tensions between our nations, I must ask you to keep an open mind. As Sarah de Richet is unable to be among us, please welcome Louis de Richet, who will represent the Golden Order and will vote on its behalf when the time comes.
Welcome among us, Louis.
Welcome, Monsieur. I hope he'll be more effective than his mother regarding the protection of the King of France. The Order has proved particularly inefficient.
Come, Manuel, you're not going to spoil our visit. The Order's mission was not to protect King Louis XVI, as far as I am aware.
We are talking about a king of divine blood, for goodness sake. It seemed obvious to me he needed protecting. If the Golden Order wants to pride itself on being an influential organization, it should have kept him alive.
Perhaps we may begin, Lord Mortimer.
Certainly. I have a dream that our nations will continue to support each other, more now than ever before. A dream that, for the sake of common good, we will do what it takes to ensure stability in the modern world. I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer, but I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the east coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to France, namely all of Louisiana.
Louisiana? But Well, it is not for sale. Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you. But rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see.
Well, since you give me the choice, my good fellow, allow me to doubt it. However, I am impatient to hear what Spain could possibly gain from the sale of Louisiana.
I never spoke of a sale, my good fellow.
What? But I do not understand.
There is one more territory left to conquer, if I'm not mistaken, in the northwest. It is, of course, occupied by your notorious Indians,
We shall soon be rid of the savages, so that is not a question.
Duke Manuel, I believe that Spain should cede Louisiana to France free of charge.
This is utterly grotesque, Lord Mortimer. What a strange example you set for your young protégé. Isn't that so, Monsieur de Richet? Do you understand anything of this proposition?
If I were you, Senor Godoy, I would think twice before stirring up a scandal.
I beg your pardon?
Given the size of your colonies, you won't be able to keep them for long. A number of countries are eyeing them as we speak. The United States would have no trouble taking them. For all intents and purposes, you have no army in place. By wanting to keep everything, you risk losing it all, especially your colonies in South America, which are far more valuable to you.
That is indeed the danger, Duke Manuel. If it comes to war over Louisiana, you will lose. And probably a good deal more than you now imagine.
Young man, you are indeed a dark horse, aren't you?
I must say, William, I find your project mostly disfavors me. I thought you were my friend.
And I am, Mr. President. That is why I'm doing everything in my power to calm your expansionist fervor. France, in Louisiana, should persuade you not to attempt anything to take the territory by force. Louisiana is a vast wetland where you would needlessly lose most of your troops. It would weaken you and offer certain nations the perfect opportunity to take back your famous United States. I am protecting you from yourself, George. Trust me.
I understand. But with friends like you, sir, I certainly don't need any more enemies. I hope you know what you're doing.
Not to put too fine a point on it, Lord Mortimer, but I doubt the Holy See would be in favor of Catholic Louisiana being handed over to secular revolutionaries and king killers.
I should think Monsieur de Richet has an opinion on this subject, does he not?
In any case, my lord, I doubt the English crown will agree.
Ich will sicher Ihnen, Emily, nie Preußen wird diese Vereinbarung akzeptieren.
Duchess, I am persuaded that we shall find a common ground.
That's enough, William. These are grave times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana. That worthless expanse of putrid swamps interests no one but yourself.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
Hold on there, Mr. Royal Gigolo. Lower the volume, and let Sir Gregory finish.
Home, Godoy, and now Volner? Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in watching it happen.
How dare
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos! That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified. Those who are opposed to this project, follow me. Are you coming with us, Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory. I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
As for me, I think I shall remain with Lord Mortimer, Sir Gregory.
You are committing a grave error, Louis.
Time will tell.
My friends, I would like to thank you for staying.
Good God, William. What is this I hear about you reinforcing military power in Louisiana? I have no interest in having France for a neighbor, and you know that very well.
Calm down, George. Louis, explain our plan to Mr. Washington, please.
You see, Mr. President, Lord Mortimer anticipates that once France obtains Louisiana, they will cede it to you.
What do you mean? To us? The United States?
You heard right.
But
President Washington, the United States will double in size.
By what miracle have you...
You need to expand, George. You and France are the two major democracies in the modern world. It is necessary that you both become superpowers.
Are you really going to sponsor democracy throughout the world?
Of course, Monsieur Peru. That's why I don't want Spain to get too attached to those weapons. Please continue, Louis. Explain my vision to Mr. President.
Mr. President, Lord Mortimer intends for you to conquer all the North American continent. He's relying on you to not stop at Louisiana, but to continue to push west.
Indeed, it would be dishonest to pretend that this is not my final objective.
But why didn't you tell me before?
So, home doesn't see it coming. But by the time it dawns on Senor Godoy, it'll be too late because he'll realize that he's just lost all the North American continent. We all know that you won't stop once the path is cleared before you.
What do you mean?
You see, Monsieur Peru, it's very likely that once Louisiana becomes American, President Washington will push out even more and take the West Coast.
William, you haven't changed. Always one step ahead.
One step ahead? You're joking. More like 5.
On that note, my friends, it's getting late. Mr. President, continue to take offense over my project when we resume the conference in the morning. You do it to a T. And if Sir Gregory has the audacity to send you an emissary to convince you to go against me, do me a favor. String him along if you can. The more they believe we are divided, the more we'll have our hands free.
Only too happy to oblige.
Now, let us get some rest. We've got a big day tomorrow. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Louis, if you have a minute, I would like to ask a favor of you. I'm going to require your services.
How can I be of help? Tell me all about it.
Our adversaries are many, and the closing vote of the conference will soon be upon us. Time is of an essence. So, I'll need you to assist me this evening.
How can I help?
I need you to go this very evening to persuade Senor Godoy to join us. He is the backbone of Gregory's resistance. Turn him round, and all the others will follow in such a stampede that Gregory will be able to do nothing but admit defeat.
Lord Mortimer, with all due respect, don't you think I'm the last person Godoy wants to talk to?
I'm sure you can do it. I believe in you.
If you believe that's the best way, then...
Nevertheless, I wouldn't bring up all the habits and customs of the court with him too much. I sense he's on edge at the moment. I doubt he'll be able to abide by the rules of etiquette that befit his rank.
And thanks for the advice.
However, it must be done for the conference tomorrow morning. It's important, Louis.
I'll go straight away.
Thank you, my boy. And get some rest afterwards. Big day tomorrow.
I would like to come in.
I am sorry, sir, but that is not possible for the moment.
Why do you ask?
Sir Gregory's orders, sir.
Can you tell me where I can find Duke Manuel, please?
Alas, I do not know, sir. I can only assure you he is not in the small salon.
Very well. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Lord Mortimer certainly has a taste for staging rooms.
Duke Manuel?
Well, well. Monsieur de Richet, I was not expecting you. I am not in the mood, sir, I warn you. What do you want from me, sir?
You and I both serve our countries as best we can, Duke Manuel. We're our ambassadors. It doesn't mean we have to oppose each other. France and Spain have always been neighbors and friends. We share common issues, and it's not in our interest to come into conflict, let alone on our own home soil.
All right. You have my full attention, Monsieur de Richet. Make good use of it. Just tell me one thing, Monsieur. Why did you side with Mortimer? He is alone, isolated. The United States can do nothing to help you, and France is surrounded by over 10 countries just waiting for the word to pounce. Really, I do not see why you choose Mortimer.
Oh, it's really quite simple, you know. Whose place are we at? Who can manage to bring together so many influential figures under the same roof?
Technically, Sir Gregory brought more guests than Mortimer.
Yes, but in whose name? Who organized the party, Senor Godoy? Who pays the bills? And you are forgetting something fundamental. Who has the biggest army nowadays?
Yes.
There's no shame in admitting that France is militarily superior to you. That's why you're considering joining forces with other European countries in order to confront us.
I agree that Mortimer does have some powerful assets. Tell me, do you really believe Spain has any interest in ceding Louisiana to France?
Duke Manuel, for Spain, I don't know. But for you, I'm convinced that Lord Mortimer will thank you generously.
You would not be trying to bribe me, would you?
Nothing could be further from my mind. It would be an insult to believe that someone such as yourself might have a practical attitude towards its virtue. Even so, it is only natural that you be supported and encouraged if you were to follow Lord Mortimer, isn't it?
Indeed, for services rendered, it would be natural for me to receive compensation for the time spent achieving such an undertaking, yes?
Naturally. And, given your status, my Lord Duke, the compensation would have to be considerable.
Naturally. Tell me one last thing. What would I gain from all this?
You unshackle yourself from Sir Gregory, who, let's face it, takes up a lot of space.
What are you talking about?
My friend, I'm guessing that you wouldn't mind getting a little freedom from the overbearing control he exerts?
I would never have gotten where I am today without him. He is an influential man who is true to his word and who has always given me his full attention.
But he obliges you to...
That's enough. I will not allow you to stab him in the back. Sir Gregory is a respectable gentleman, and your petty manipulations have no effect on me. If that is your only argument, then you are on the wrong track.
My Lord Duke, in these uncertain times, I believe it would be to your advantage to be rid of Louisiana in order to focus your attention on your colonies in the south. It will show the court the man you really are and how much you truly deserve your position.
And it will silence all the jibes and jeers aimed at my person. Then people would only see me as the man who consolidated the frontiers of the Spanish Empire.
What a statesman you are.
Come on, you fool, give it up. You're trapped like a rat.
Monsieur, I am astounded. I did not think you capable, but you have succeeded. I will be more wary of you the next time. Nonetheless, if you can guarantee Lord Mortimer's support, then yes, you can count on my vote when the time comes. However, I expect you to be discreet with regard to my former partners, without which our agreement will become null and void.
Of course, my Lord Duke. You can count on me. Lord Mortimer will be delighted to hear the news.
I hope you know what you are getting into, Louis. I bid you good luck.
Good night, my Lord Duke.
See you tomorrow.
Well, that's one thing out of the way. Only thing left to do is wait for the conference to resume tomorrow morning.
Ah, Monsieur de Richet. You wouldn't have seen Duke Manuel by any chance, would you?
I just ran into him. He was heading for the dining room.
Ah, thank you.
Duke Manuel Godoy. Manuel Godoy, a painting of himself in his room. Now that's not going to help him develop a sense of modesty. Don Quixote, talking without thinking. Prometheus, punished for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man. Amber crystals. Charles IV of Spain. Now there's no chance of Godoy forgetting who he owes everything to. Prometheus, punished for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man.
Good evening, Monsieur le Français.
Duchess, you're here. What a charming surprise. I'm beginning to think you can't be without me.
You have managed to penetrate my armor, sir. Am I disturbing you, perhaps?
That's not what I said.
Ah, by the way, you surprised me during the conference.
Why's that?
Well, you are going to lose. Why stay with Lord Mortimer?
I believe he has every chance of winning.
My, you are a rash one. However, if ever you want to change sides, please feel free to let me know.
But tell me, you didn't come here to try and make me change my mind, did you?
That's the last thing on my mind, although you would have everything to gain by it.
There's no point trying to persuade me. Don't hold it against me.
Of course not, silly. Louis, if you trust me, you ought to ask yourself why I have chosen home. You do trust me, don't you?
Of course, Emily. You know you have my full trust.
Louis, you're lying. That's not good. Any more of that and I might get upset. Admit, though, that it does make you think. There's still time, you know. Join us before it's too late.
Unfortunately, my word is my bond. I don't want to leave Lord Mortimer in the lurch.
Very well, as you wish. It's up to you to decide.
Tell me, are these visits to Mortimer's always so intense?
Yes and no. My sister doesn't normally disappear like she has. Any news of your mother?
I've seen her, Emily.
What? When was that?
A little earlier, just before the conference. She was hiding.
And did you manage to speak to her?
She's not the same. I don't know what's been happening to her, but she's changed. I found her in a deplorable state with one of her hands cut off. I mean, she was saying crazy things, bordering on delirium.
What? Did you say one of her hands was cut off? What happened to her?
I don't know. She wouldn't say.
And did she tell you why she shot Emma?
No. Unfortunately, we were unable to broach the subject. She seemed terribly upset, Emily. There's something strange going on here. She was fearful of something or someone.
Excuse me, Louis, but until we see proof of the contrary, she's the one who is sowing death everywhere she goes. We are the ones who ought to be fearful.
I know.
No, I apologize for that remark. Who do you think she's hiding from? Mortimer?
I don't know. Maybe.
Louis, I don't want to pile it on, but I would understand her feelings there. You ought to be wary of Mortimer. He's a manipulator, a liar, a coward who doesn't assume his responsibilities at all.
What exactly happened between you two, Emily? You're so radically against him.
Can we change subject, please? I didn't come here to go through all that again.
Of course, it's late. You're right.
Come, Louis.
My friends, do not worry. I assure you that Lord Mortimer's plan will never see the light of day. I shall deal with informing our allies, but for the time being, I need you to make a stand.
What do you think about Monsieur de Richet?
I don't know yet. I feel there's great potential in him.
He looks like he can be trusted. And Duchess Hillsborough. Why isn't she here?
She's busy. Don't worry about her.
Oh, isn't it time to replace her?
Not so fast, sir. She is an important figure. You ought to have a little more faith in her.
What are we going to do about Washington?
He will be a hard nut to crack. On our chessboard, he is Mortimer's king.
Don't worry. Mr. President only wants one thing. To keep his dear America united. He won't jeopardize everything he has achieved on a whim.
He has been serving Mortimer for quite some time. It won't be easy to bring him around. Do you feel all right, Mr. Godoy? You haven't said a word.
Please excuse me, gentlemen. I feel tired.
Oh, I see. I think it is high time you left us then. Now!
Emily? Emily? Are you there? Typical. There she goes again. What's with this habit of hers of taking off in the middle of the night?
Sir, the conference is about to begin. You are expected in the conference room.
Tell them I'm coming. Thank you. Come on, Louis. The game is back on.
My friends, the conference is about to begin. Please excuse me if I troubled you last night with my project. I understand that you might well have a few questions to ask. As you know, the final vote will be cast in a few days. This morning's aim is to answer your questions and check the temperature of your respective positions so that we may reach a greater understanding.
As always, Lord Mortimer.
We parted in perfect disagreement, my lord. Where would you like us to take it from?
Come, sir. Please let William believe he still has a chance of winning us over. Otherwise, his imprecations will lack panache, and we shall be bored stiff.
Oh, let me assure you, I am convinced that a good night's sleep has brought sound advice, and that this morning will be even more interesting. Therefore, I would like to go around the table in order to hear everyone's first impressions.
Well, I am still firmly against it, even though my choice won't count.
Against.
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 And you, Luke Manuel?
Well, you see, it is more complicated and it...
Calm, Gregory. Don't try to impress my guests, please.
They are not your guests.
Gregory, anyone under my roof is by definition my guest. You included. I would be very grateful if you would let my guests speak. Duke Manuel, you were saying you still had some doubts?
Well, you see, the situation has changed since last night.
What's going on here, my Lord Duke?
You see, I gave it some thought during the night. New arguments have come to light.
What do you mean, Duke Manuel?
Sir Gregory, I regret to inform you that Spain will not support you in this operation. I vote for. Moreover, in response to arguments brought to my attention, I declare war on France.
What? What is he doing?
If you think France is afraid of you, you are dreaming.
Over 10 nations rise against you, young man, and you behave like a yapping little dog.
When the French armies are at your door, my Lord Duke, you will change your tune. Well, as for me, I am for Lord Mortimer's project, despite Duchess Hillsborough's overwhelmingly convincing nocturnal attentions.
What? So Emily was playing at trying to win over guests last night?
It was nothing more than a friendly little chat, of course.
How could it be otherwise? And by the way, remember me to your husband when you see him. And you, President Washington, what is your position?
For, of course.
Well, that leaves just yourself and Monsieur Peru, Louis.
You're all making me sick. Look at yourselves.
What?
You are pathetic!
Have you been drinking or what?
There you are, quibbling away. My Lord Duke this, and Madame Duchess that. You know very well that we're nothing but puppets on a damn string.
Jacques,
Let's end the charade. It's over.
Jacques.
My lord, thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. But it didn't come for free. And now I see the price is too high to pay. I'll stop.
Come, Jacques, we'll talk it over.
No, I'm finished. I want my freedom back, my lord. I shall no longer work for you. enough of your money, your influence, your power! I want my freedom back! I want my damn life back! I don't understand. I spoke to him only recently.
Monsieur Peru has lost his mind. It's obvious.
Yet another way for the French to make a spectacle of themselves. Well, once again it has worked.
My friends, let us settle down, please. We are all in shock, of course.
It's absolutely incomprehensible.
As you say.
No idea what he could have blamed himself for. But the poor man was literally racked with remorse.
What a pity he did not seek the mercy of the Lord. He is forever damned now.
I think everyone needs a little rest. Can you stay a moment?
Of course.
I wanted to see you to apologize for all these events. I am absolutely bowled over by what has just happened. Who would have thought that Monsieur Peru would have taken his own life like that?
To be honest, my lord, I would not have risked my life for his, and his death doesn't really concern me.
I understand. You didn't really know him. I can't help but wonder what could have pushed him into doing it.
We shall never know, my lord. On that note, my lord, I'll be leaving you. Have we covered everything?
Absolutely. Oh, Louis, one more thing, please. I wanted to thank you for your support during the conference. You've made the right choice, and it gives me tremendous satisfaction to have you with me on this project.
What is at stake is worth it, my lord. Now, I won't hide from you the fact that I have no idea by what miracle we could ever get a unanimous vote.
Trust me, Louis. We still have a few more cards to play. You'll see. Anything can happen in politics.
I'll see you later, my lord.
you or to someone else? Impossible to tell with you people.
Yes, sir.
Your yes is not sufficient. Tell the others, for crying out loud. Remember to close my window once you've done my room. This is because, you know, I'm freezing. Of course, I think you're freezing. Good.
Next time, I'll listen to my mother. Not a day has gone by without something happening to me. What now?
Louis, open up, please.
Coming, Mr. President, I'm coming.
Louis. Ah, there you are at last.
Yes,
I just saw your mother. She was accompanied by Emily, and they both went into the Duchess's room. I tried to join them, but I was refused entry. Louis, this does not bode well.
Oh, shit. Emily might want to avenge her sister. I must act quickly. You're right, Mr. President. Thank you.
What do you want from me, Richet? Get on with it. I'm busy.
I wanted to speak to you about the conference.
Listen, you chose your side. You had every possible reason to make the right choice, but you preferred to commit yourself to Mortimer. Good luck, because it's a lost battle. The subject is closed. Anything else?
What a tragedy about Mr. Baru.
Are you joking? That bonehead had it coming to him.
Excuse me, this is the wrong room. do believe that's Emily's voice. I can't open it. It must be blocked on the other side. I'll have to find another way in, quick. I have to get inside Emily's room through the... Shit! It's locked.
How did you do that to me?
It's as if there are several people inside.
Once again, you're the one who's the victim in all this.
What are you on about now?
A letter from
I should
William
never have told
the
you what
Younger,
happened to me.
addressed to Emily.
That's
What on earth is...
You know it full well. I'm not that naive.
You... Mother?
How dare you do this to me? You can talk. After everything I've done for you. You are joking, I hope, right? I gave you my life. That's enough, Emma. Now that Louis is here, you will leave Sarah alone. Cease your revenge immediately. What? If you think you're going to... Louis, help me, I beg you. I can no longer reason with her. I am Emily. Quit playing games. What? Honestly, don't be ridiculous. No. I am Emily. You are wasting your time. Louis knows very well how to tell us apart. After everything we've been through together.
Yes, well...
Don't you dare bring him into this. This is between you and me. I ask for nothing more, so stop taking it out on Sarah. You prissy little bitch! How dare you! Now that I've told you everything, you want to take my place, do you? You are joking, I hope. I'm the one who told you everything that's been going on while you were away. Go on then. That's what you want, isn't it? You want to kill me. Go on then, shoot! After all the trouble I've gone through to find you. Go on. What are you waiting for? Here, Louis, take this.
Wait, what's going...
An entire life for this. Go on, shoot! Sorry, Louis, I can't shoot her. She's my sister. That's enough, Emma. Louis, out of the way. She's dangerous. Don't trust her. What are you trying to do? Louis, out of the way. I am not Emma. Come on, Louis, tell her who the real Emily is.
Wait,
That's right, Louis. I'm fed up with this little game. Tell him who the real Emily is.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Well, Louis, come on, you know how to tell us apart, right?
Yes, but I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure there's no doubt. Rational and open, Louis. Let's see. How can I tell them apart? Wait, I've got an idea. On the night of our arrival, you handed me something. I wasn't feeling very well, and you handed me something. What was it?
My handkerchief, and you stained it with your blood. You still have it, as a matter of fact. But she already knows all this, Louis. It's a waste of time.
Right. Let's find something else. Ah, yes. Let's speak about my arrival at the manor.
On the night of our arrival, we were warming ourselves in front of the fire. Mortimer welcomed us in a certain way. What happened exactly?
Well played, Louis. Unfortunately, I'm not the one you should have asked that question to. Mortimer did not welcome us. It was Sir Gregory who welcomed us that night. Mortimer didn't show up until 2 days later. I know that as well.
Very well.
Let's try something else.
On the first night, we went up to bed, but I wasn't tired. I went for a little stroll. Before going to bed, I went for a stroll. Did we speak to each other during that stroll?
You must be mistaken. After going up to bed, I went straight to sleep. But she knows all that, Louis. I already told her. Don't think you're going to get away with this deception so easily. I can assure you, you're going to regret pretending to be me once Louis has exposed you.
Right. I don't think I'll get very far like this. I'll have to find something better.
Oh, I don't think I'll even wait until he's finished.
Take it easy now.
Are you mad, Louis?
Lower your arm.
I better act quickly if I don't want things to get out of hand.
Come on, she's putting one over on you. Look at yourself for crying out loud. You were prepared to shoot me down.
In the secret room behind the study. Talk to them about what you've been doing. Maybe they haven't spoken about it between each other yet.
On the night of the disappearance of Elizabeth Adams.
What about it? What do you want to know about that night?
We found ourselves in Mortimer's secret gallery. What relics did we find?
Property deeds in Mortimer's name dating from very long ago.
Is that all?
You mean all those mythological charms? So there was the so-called Pandora's box that wasn't a box actually. The famous golden fleece that reeked of dead goat. A broken sword that could have belonged to anyone. Is that enough?
Yes, that's enough.
You look captivated. Of course, he bought it. That's enough! I've had enough of this charade. Louis, there's only one way to tell us apart. There's just one thing I didn't tell her about in detail. Too bad for you, Emma. I didn't want it to come to this, but you leave me no choice. Ask her about you and I. You just lost, Emma. I indeed didn't tell you everything about it. Come, Louis. Speak about our intimacy.
Very well. Let's talk about us. Last night, you came to me in my room. What exactly did we talk about?
We spoke briefly about your choices during the conference, Louis. What do you mean? Yes, Emma. It just so happens I didn't tell you everything. I never told you about this part. I hate you!
That's enough, both of you. Now I know who the real Emily is.
It's you, Emily.
No, Louis! She is manipulating you!
No, Emma. It's her. I know it. Despite all the trouble you've gone to put one over on me, I know it is her.
That's enough now, Emma. You little slut! Don't think you are going to get away with this so easily. You are going to stop your little game right now. Never! I am Duchess Hills. No!
Emily?
I am the Duchess.
But...
You don't. I dear God, what have I done? See what you've done. See?
Louis?
Mother!
What on earth is...
Go away! You must go. Everyone is going to arrive.
Louis, what's going on?
Duchess, is everything all right?
Come on, Louis. There's nothing more you can do.
But I...
Leave us.
Emily, what's going on?
Mother, go to the crypt. I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I am coming in.
It was bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her. Please, go. I'll cover you.
Bicorn decorated with a cockade. It must belong to a French soldier. Good God! They're all here. They must have heard the gunshot.
Where is Lord Mortimer?
Can anyone hear anything through the door?
Did you hear that? I was not dreaming, was I?
Certainly not, Duke Godoy.
What's going on?
Someone had the bang coming from the Duchess's room, and she isn't answering.
Gentlemen, go back to your rooms. Go back to your rooms. I shall find out from Lord Mortimer what this is all about. Thank you.
Louis! At last, there you are.
Mother, wait,
Come, we have to be quick.
No, wait, Mother,
Time is running out, Louis. First, we must...
No! That's enough. I won't go a step further unless you explain to me what is going on here. I'm begging you. Talk to me.
You must trust me, my son. You are not ready yet.
You're the one who should trust me. Tell me what's happening.
You would never believe me.
I came all the way here for you. Now I've found you. I'm ready, Mother.
If only Louis, I have always taught you to keep your mind open and logical. I know you are going to find it hard to believe, but what I am going to reveal to you is entirely true. Many years ago, I found out that demons really do live among us.
I beg your pardon?
And that they can influence our thoughts.
Mother, listen to yourself. I know you're exhausted, but for crying out loud, listen to what you're saying. Demons? What next? An ancient monster with a head like an octopus? What do your demons look like? Have they got horns and a pointed tail?
No, these are not creatures with billy goat's legs. Forget your Christian folklore. Imagine them more as parasitic spirits. They possess their hosts and direct them from inside.
Parasitic spirits?
Yes, they are capable of going from one body to another as they see fit. And 2 of them are present on this island.
Right. So let me guess. I'd put my money on the Boogeyman and Father Christmas.
Do you really believe that I'm joking here? Many years ago, well before you were born, I crossed paths with one of them. Since then, I've spent my life trying to find it again. When we recovered the Alizif, I was persuaded that von Burchard was working for this demon in one way or another. But I thought he would hand the book to a middleman during this conference. That's where I made an error that could well turn out to be fatal. The one who Burchard was meant to give the book to was none other than the demon in person, Mortimer. Not to mention that Holm had sent Volner to get it for him.
Holm and Mortimer are demons?
They both seem to disagree about many things, but I'll admit I never knew exactly why. There are many of them, Louis, not just those 2.
Mother, have you any proof to support any of this?
Of course, but you do too. You had everything laid out in front of you. Didn't you notice anything?
Mother, I shan't follow you down that path. I wouldn't be doing you any favors.
Logical and open, Louis. Tell me then, how can anyone own properties all over the world for centuries by always signing documents with the same signature?
Well, I can find 10 other explanations less eccentric than demonic possession, Mother.
How come the Mortimers have had only one male heir for each generation since the Third Crusade?
Forgery, family rights, where they get rid of the daughter. There are dozens of less extravagant possibilities.
How could one man motivate so many future leading figures of the day on his silly island without anyone finding out about it? Even the Golden Order isn't capable of that.
Well, he's simply better than us, and he's welcome to it.
You refuse to open your eyes, Louis.
You've lost your objectivity, Mother.
I saw him.
What do you mean you saw him?
I was 20 years old. I was young and carefree. I traveled the world in search of adventure. In the Persian Gulf, we came across an ancient grimoire that became unlocked. Composed of 7 parts, each one was a book in itself, set in a sort of metal armor that structured the whole thing. When all the volumes were brought together, they formed a single book. On my return to Paris, I set to studying these pages. I spent all my days and nights studying them.
Oh, I can imagine you doing that.
But the writing was in a language I had never seen before, developed well before Sumerian, in my opinion. So I got the idea to form a small occult circle composed of all the major names in the occult world to see if anyone else could crack it.
And you found no one.
And I found someone, Louis. I found him, or rather he found me. He was young, charismatic, he was flamboyant.
Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Von Burchard?
No, Mortimer, of course. He was a veritable mine of knowledge. I showed him the book, and he was able to decipher a few passages. We spent several months together studying the pages.
He was already old in those days, wasn't he? So you recognized him when you arrived on the island, right?
No, he wasn't in that body. But I know it was him. I swear it was him. The way he spoke, his posture, a few of his intonations, his mannerisms.
Wait a minute. You were talking about 60 years ago. I've lost the thread.
Yes, sorry. He helped me understand certain passages until I realized that he only translated a few parts for me. But I had aroused his interest. It was too late.
How so?
I mean to say he manipulated me. He used me, and in the end, he stole the book with all its secrets.
Did he ever go to your place?
Not once. At least I don't think so. But before disappearing, he proposed a pact between us. He proposed that I follow him and let him teach me, allow him to bring me up.
And you accepted?
Please don't be stupid. You don't make deals with the devil. After that, I spent my whole life looking for him. 3 years later, in Berlin, I just missed him. In London, I lost 6 members of the Order in a chase. In 1741, in Tunisia, I found a sect of fanatics who had crossed paths with him once. 1741, in Poland. 1749, in India.
8 years ago in Venice.
We agreed never to speak about what happened in Venice, Louis.
You agreed, and that was before you spoke to me about demons. Wait, the baby we delivered, you and me, that night in Venice, did he have anything to do with Lord Mortimer?
The child was his son.
We stole his son? Are you insane? I always thought we took him to save him.
That was the case. It was precisely to save him from his father.
Need I remind you the mother died during childbirth? What became of the child?
Later. For the moment, that is not the key issue here. Once we found the Alazif in Paris, I followed von Borchart's trail here. I didn't think it would lead me straight to the demon. It was careless of me. He toyed with me for a few days, until I caught on, until I saw him as he was. But he had no intention of letting me leave. We are all his pawns, Louis, and if we don't want to spend the rest of our lives turning round in circles here, we must absolutely get off this island. All right, can we move on?
Wait a minute, one last thing. Are you going to tell me what happened to your hand?
Better than that, I shall show you.
Good. I think that's about right. We shall speak about it once we get back to France.
Great actions for humanity have been decided by demons for centuries, Louis. They are playing with our destiny. We are their slaves. And it's time for it to stop. By the way, what was Mortimer's project at this conference?
He wants the United States to occupy all the North American territory. France should recover Louisiana and give it to the United States. In that case, the Americans would just have to push west to chase the Spanish from the continent once and for all.
And as Mortimer controls Washington, you may just as well say that it will put him at the head of a world superpower. We should do our utmost to put a stop to Mortimer's plans. But for the time being, there are more pressing matters.
Are you going to tell me why we're here?
There. That's why we are here.
Reassure me, we aren't going to have to force that one, are we?
I don't think we're even capable of doing it. You're going to have to find a way to open it.
Why, of course. And what's inside?
Something to vanquish them with?
Perfect. So, how does it open?
We'll need several keys. I found a note from the architect who conceived the mechanism in Mortimer's secret study. We have to first gather 6 objects before we try anything.
Are your 6 objects the keys?
Exactly. We have the Clement III cross, the nails, the Gutenberg Bible, the exegesis of Judas, an armillary sphere, and all we need to match up the dates between the different calendars. One last thing before you go. Be very careful. If you come across anyone, they can all potentially be spies of Mortimer or Holm. Don't ever confide in anyone because a demon can slip inside them at any moment.
Wait, not all of them though. Take Washington.
Especially Washington. He's been conditioned by Mortimer for years. Look at them, for crying out loud. How do you explain their behavior otherwise? The most influential politicians in the Western world gather together without the least protection, without a single aid to assist them, to participate in a conference during which the guests start dropping like flies. Me, Adams, Peru, Hillsborough. Look at the number of calamities that have happened over the past few days. And not one of them has asked to leave the island? Do you find that normal? You'll see. Go up to the manor to look for the keys, and I wager not one of them will speak to you about my being in Emily's room.
Do you think so?
Go on, you'll see. And come back with all the objects in one go. Time is against us. And remember, the code to get out of the secret office is 6646.
Let's see if I can work it out myself. It looks like a kind of control panel. There's a cross-shaped slot there. I'd say you've got to place a Clement III cross in it.
You ought to go, Louis. If someone finds us here, the situation might well become seriously complicated.